Hello, everyone. Welcome to Quaver PLC. My name is Jackie, and while you can't see me, I will be moderating this live session. This is an interactive session, and you'll be able to use your audio and video to interact with the host. We do ask that when you are not speaking, please mute your audio. You can also use the chat box on the right-hand side of your screen to ask questions or share info throughout the session, if you wish. This session, along with the chat, is being recorded so attendees can view it after the conference. Also, to respect your time in the conference agenda, we will end each session at the designated time. Thank you again for attending QuaverCon. Your session will begin shortly.
Good morning, everyone.
Hi, Jim.
It's great to see all of you.
I'm so excited. So, Jim, we still have people coming in right now. We are at 885 people.
A small group.
Yeah, it's just a few close friends. Exactly. So we are asking that everyone just go ahead and mute themselves as you come in. Don't worry, you'll get a chance to talk soon. Jim Meskey is one of my favorite people, and he is a teacher ambassador for us. I think the OG teacher ambassador for Quaver. He's been around for many, many years, and he has led our summer PLCs, and I think he's done a fabulous job, and I could not let him not have a PLC at QuaverCon. It just didn't make any sense. So I'm here as more of a helper, but Jim, this is all you, so take it away.
Thank you so much, Tony. And what
I think you're muted, Jim.
No, I'm not. Okay, here we go. Thank you so much, Tony. What an awesome first session. If you missed it, it was recorded, so you can check it out at a later point. You'll get all the links sent to you later. But we're going to jump right in because we do only have 20 minutes. I know everybody's ready to talk to each other and get the conversations rolling. So first of all, as Tony told you this morning, all of our sessions will start with this slide. What I want to talk about quickly is just professional learning community and what that is. Some people don't know. This is a time to interact with each other, music teachers. If you have them in your own schools, it might not just be music teachers. Learn from each other, share, and what we're doing today is sharing about that first session and any other things you want to discuss with your colleagues across the United States. So today we're going to first debrief the active music making session. You're going to connect with other Quaver teachers in a breakout room, and then you can share ideas if you have time for the return to school as well. So here's just a little bit about me that Tony had shared with you. I am from Chicago, Illinois, and here's just the details. I am currently teaching myself kindergarten through 5th grade. So quick housekeeping, because we are going to be breaking out into breakout rooms. So in the chat box, I try my best to look at the chat box, but it is being watched by the Quaver team. So if you have questions or things come up, go ahead and put them in the chat box and they can help you out. This PLC will be recorded, as you have already heard, but the breakouts will not be recorded because there will be lots of them. So make sure if you hear anything in your breakout session to definitely write it down so that you don't lose that information and you have it when you need it. Some Zoom etiquette, of course, please be respectful. Muting is important, even though you'll be in a small group of about 10. Please mute yourself as others are talking and show kindness to each other and stay engaged. The important thing is in these breakout rooms, what's going to happen if you haven't done this before is you're going to get into a breakout room of about 10 people and there'll be that awkward silence. I challenge you to be the first person to talk so that you don't all stare at each other for your time that you are together. So jump right in, get the conversation rolling. I cannot be in all the millions of rooms at the same time to get that going. So please, and teacher ambassadors out there, it'd be great for you to get those conversations going in those rooms because our time will go very quickly that we have together.
For sure. Can you tell that Jim has done a PLC before, that he reminds us to talk and write it? Sorry, you're perfect for this. Keep going.
Okay, thank you. I thought you were going to say, Jim, slow down. I'm like, no, I want to give everyone time to talk. Okay, so here's our discussion questions for today. What strategy or activity did you take away from the active music making session? and what can you implement in your classroom for back to school? Now, mind you, that'll look different for some of us, and some of us don't know what back to school is going to be, but you had a lot of great things that were shared this morning that can be used in all different settings, whether the kids are at home or the kids are in your classroom, hybrid, whatever your school is doing. So with that, what's going to happen is these questions will also be put in the chat for your breakout room, and also will kind of pop up. So in your breakout session, you'll discuss both of these questions. Since we are together for a shorter time, we thought it'd be easier just to discuss both questions at the same time, get those conversations rolling, and go from there. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to my Quaver friends, and they are going to do this magical thing to break us, hopefully all 800, 900 of us, into groups of 10 in your breakout room. You're going to get a little pop-up that's going to ask you to join that breakout room. You're going to have 10 minutes, which will give you hopefully plenty of time to talk with each other about these questions. So with that, I think we are ready to press that magic button.
So Jackie, just to be sure, when you do the breakout rooms, we want to be in groups of 10, please.
Okay. Okay.
Is it working for you, Jackie? Nice. So our admin, Jackie, is going to try and put us in breakout rooms. It's probably taken just a bit because there's so many of us. So just bear with us. You should see a pop-up on your screen in just a second.
Oh, goodness to Jesus. Y'all gave us breakout right now.
Jim, why don't you maybe just have a few people unmute here? I have a feeling because more people are still trying to get in that it's preventing us from doing the breakout really quickly.
Sure,
so why don't you just go ahead and
problem.
Unmute a few people at a time, and I'll see if I can make a call.
Okay, we're definitely testing Zoom and their capabilities today with 860 people saying put us in groups of 10. So I have a few people I know in the room that might jump in and maybe share for us. I know April, you and I have connected this morning. If you wouldn't mind unmuting yourself, April, and kind of chiming in here, that would be great. On any strategies or activities that you had?
Hey there, it is so great to connect with you and everyone else. Distance learning definitely had its challenges, but one of the takeaways that I think was the biggest for me was rethinking things and having that ability to adapt to something brand new. I think overall we keep hearing this, how do I do concerts? How do I present my students' learning? And I think for me, one of the biggest things that I want to make sure that I do is keep a positive attitude and then continue to share my students' learning. So I know for myself, I loved making some videos of my students' learning. I used what they were already using. Sometimes we did it in Google Slides, sometimes we used Flipgrid, we used the Quaver material, but then I loved taking all of what they learned and then put it into a presentation, whether that was iMovie or we made a video using WeVideo for our virtual choir. But it was awesome to get a chance to continue to share their learning, and just, even though we have to rethink things, I think it's so important that we continue to share out the amazing things that our students are doing.
Definitely. Thank you. Such good points. Any other teacher ambassadors? I know Stephanie Jones, you're here. If you have any thoughts on our questions as well, if you want to jump in, Stephanie.
There we go. Well, I really was excited to think about the idea of that body percussion thing instead of just doing, I have always used it as a steady beat activity in either the percussion dancing groups of 2s or groups of 3s or groups of 4s, and just doing steady beat and having the kids do a stronger beat and then weaker beats. But now the idea of using it with the older kids and having them be able to actually come up with different rhythm patterns instead of just a steady beat sort of thing, kind of was just like mind-blowing moment. Just strategy for when I was doing distance learning, something that really helped me out a lot. Quaver was fabulous, but being able to Zoom with my kids and go over the lesson that they could do independently on their own was really helpful. And being able to make that connection with them, see their faces, have them see me, and then be able to take the material that I've gone over with them and explained what to do, and let them then go back and do it independently on their own. And then at the beginning of the next session, and I met them weekly, to have them tell me about it and share what they did with it was really cool. A great opportunity.
Awesome. Thank you. Jennifer, did you want to share something? I saw you raise your hand. Thank you for jumping in.
I'm going to jump in really quick, Jim.
Oh, great.
We have an update. The breakout rooms are happening. You're going to get a little pop-up on your screen. They're just moving real slow because there's 860 of you to move into a room. So just keep your conversation
So we're
going.
kind of in the waiting room. So anyone that's still here, we'll just hang out and chat.
Yeah, just chat away.
Jennifer, are you still here? Oh, she's
yes,
gone.
Is that Jennifer Demas? Are we looking for
Jennifer Demas. Yeah, if you want to jump in.
All right. So yeah, I was just thinking that I'm going to be starting full on distance in the fall, and I just keep thinking how this is an opportunity to connect differently with your students through music. So it's like all of my normal activities I can't do. I have to reimagine how I'm going to make music, excuse me, and an important part of my students' lives. Excuse me, an important part of my students' lives still, because really, I think music is one of the most powerful things that we have, and I think it's so important during these times, but just because they can't experience it in the way that they have before doesn't mean it isn't just as important. So that was kind of my biggest takeaway. There's lots of different techniques and different things, and one of the most interesting things I thought of is this is an opportunity to teach them sign language. Like I've seen some of the people doing the sign language applause or whatnot things, because you can't necessarily always have everyone unmuted. It just becomes kind of crazy.
Definitely.
But that was what I was thinking.
So yes, the rest of us that are still here, I believe, we're waiting to be put into the breakout rooms. It's supposed to happen through Zoom. So I'm feeling that it's crunching through all these people and trying to put us into breakout rooms. I'm assuming some people are in them and some are not. It was impossible for us to,
we can also make an executive decision to just, the breakout rooms, we're gonna be teachers on the fly in this distance teaching world. You would never have 900 students, I hope. At one time.
I mean, we did do a dress rehearsal, but we only did a dress rehearsal with 4.
Right, it was much
we
easier.
It was impossible to do a dress rehearsal with 900.
So if people want to continue sharing out as well as in the chat, I think that's a better use of our time. I don't want to waste people's energy trying to figure out the breakout room.
Okay, great. And I think I saw a couple more hand raises, and I think Sarah was another person I saw that raised her hand that wanted to jump in. Sarah, did you want to jump in?
Sure. Just piggybacking on, can you hear me?
Yes. Yep.
Oh, okay. Sorry. The body beat things, I thought a clever way to get everybody interacting would be to have 2 patterns going on at the same time and having 2 students, like they had done it in the session, and then one at a time unmuting kids on each team so that you can start layering sounds. My question to pose to the group and maybe to you is, in my district in Milwaukee, they've announced virtual classrooms for sure, but it will very likely be that we are pre-recorded and it's not going to be a live Zoom class. So how can we use these things to still engage and still assess when the technology is such that I need to pre-record this lesson and then engage the student. So that I would love feedback on that.
That's a great thing to talk about. And I have a couple ideas that I want to share quickly. One would be, people have talked about Flipgrid, which is a great way to get feedback, and you can kind of get that conversation going between you and your students. You can record things and then they can kind of record back to you and they can all see it and talk. That's one way. Google Classroom is another way to connect with them. It's not, I know it's not live, but at least you can connect with them that way. There's been a few more hands that have come up. Brennan, did you want to jump in?
Everybody is talking about this as if everyone can see and hear their students whenever they want. My county has a prohibition against that. I am not allowed to see my students, nor am I allowed to hear their voices, because I'm required to record every single one of my lessons to then post for kids who missed class. It is a privacy and safety issue. So how do we get around that in this world? I can't even unmute my choir. And this is an auditioned choir. They come to a creative performing arts school to get worked with by me.
Thank you, Brennan. And let's, in the chat, maybe put in some ideas of things that we can do if we just don't have access, like he's talking about, to those type of technologies and things. That's very interesting. I'm sure you're not the only teacher that's going through that. So I'm seeing some people throwing some stuff in the chat. For time's sake, we are at 3 minutes, Jim. So maybe we can have one more teacher share out and then we can wrap it up. I'm sorry, this is such a short amount of time, guys.
Yeah, of course, we wanted us in breakout rooms, but we're doing our best with what we've got, and that's what we do every day as teachers, and that's just how it is. And I might have missed a hand, so if there's someone that wants to jump in quick, if you want to raise your hand quick, and I'll call out your name, because there are a lot of us here. If you had something you wanted to share. Rosemary, you're the first one, so Rosemary.
Yeah, there you go.
Hi, everybody from Atlanta, Georgia. I just wanted to share something with distance learning. We were actually distance learning in the spring, so I got a little bit of taste of what it was going to be like, just in case we ended up being this way, which we are this way for this fall. So with the older kids, sometimes that's just a challenge, period, trying to reach them, because they think that, oh, I'm too cool for music. But I really loved kind of like the music history aspect and getting them to create on cue groups. They love creating their own musical tracks and being my little producers. So fortunately, I have a music business industry background. So my thinking is to show them, oh, okay, so when you make your own track, let's talk about the business of music. How would you market your song to a commercial jingle house? So we started the commercial jingle project that's actually in Quaver, and they loved this particular project, and it took them weeks to do. Granted, we were in school when we started the project, but this is something they can easily do independently at home. And this is a project that will probably last a couple of weeks.
That is awesome. Rosemary, I don't mean to cut you off, but the Zoom is going to cut us off in just a minute.
Okay. That was pretty much it.
Oh, great.
Great.
So I apologize, everyone. Our tech didn't go as planned, but that's how these things work. And we go with it and we do our best. What I want you all to do is head over to that What's New at Q today, because there are some amazing new things. Maybe you've already seen them that have been launched. If you want to check out how these breakout rooms work, there is a Quaver SEL one coming up next week that you are also invited. You can come to those as well. That's a PLC, so you can look for that information. With that, Tony, thank you so much for giving us at least a little time to chat.
For sure. And Jim, I also want to remind everybody in Whova, if you feel like you want to continue this conversation, start a group and you guys can have another Zoom meeting, or you can even continue in just a chat fashion to have a little discussion board. So don't feel like the conversation has to stop here. All right.
Great.
Thank you,
everyone. Enjoy the rest of QuaverCon and have a great day.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.